3, 2, 1.
Welcome everyone to the Gratitude Show. It's me, Adam Torres, and Tiffany T, and we come to you every Thursday, 7 p.m. to spread gratitude, positivity, good vibes. And it's just a safe place for you to come and really just talk about what you're grateful for. Great to see you, Tiffany.
You too, as always, Adam. And oh my gosh, what a pleasure. Tonight we have WadeBloodgood with us, who's an entrepreneur. His book just came out today called WADE. And also he is just like a mindset master. That's what I like to refer to him as. Ooh. But I'm super excited about that. And I'm super excited to see you too, Adam. You know, this is my favorite hour of the day. The week. So let's start with, hi, Sam. And hi,
here.
Mom, hi, Steph. And let's start, Adam, with what you're grateful for.
Oh man, I will tell you, I am so grateful for connecting with old friends. I will tell you that I have had so many conversations, and just it's interesting. Like as the book gains momentum and more people kind of come into the project and spread the word, I've received Facebook requests and just requests from friends that I haven't seen since like high school. One person from middle school. It was crazy. A teacher of mine from 6th grade reached out to me. I'm like, wow.
Gosh, that is so cool.
It really is. And then on LinkedIn, I've received the amount of like notifications and people that are supporting what I'm doing. And now that the book's been out for, I think like a month now, people are done reading it, and I'm starting to get testimonials, and I'm starting to get just feedback on it. And it feels even better because, when I circulated it just to be edited around friends and colleagues and things, they give you their opinion, of course, and they want to make it better. But when you finally, this as well as anyone because of the book you released, Tiffany, once you put it out there, it's out there to be judged. Right. So you don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, you hope for the best, of course, and you put in a lot of work towards it and getting it out there, but you don't know for sure. One of the coolest feedbacks I got this week was my first testimonial from Korea. It was awesome. I was so excited.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so he sent me, I put it on my Insta, so it's on Ask Adam Torres if you want to check it out. But he's basically talking about things he learned from the book, and he did a recording, and I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. Because I see some of the sales that happen like abroad, but I don't know the people. So to see like them give me that feedback and what's going on with them, it was just something else.
Yeah.
So I am grateful for just like reuniting with old friends and making new friends, and really not having to have everything figured out at all times, just trusting in the universe, trusting in the process, trusting in me putting out good energy means that good things are going to come back to me. Like that's been the basis of this project, everything I do, everything we put out there. Tiffany, just like this show, it's really just trusting in us being good people, putting out gratitude, putting out good stuff, and then being receptive and perceptive enough to accept the good things that come back to us. And I say receptive and perceptive because you got to allow them to happen to you, number one, but then you also got to recognize that they're happening, that they're not necessarily a coincidence or it's an accident or, and just glance over it like it's nothing. There's good things that happen to people all the time, every day, that sometimes we just don't even get to see because of that alone.
Absolutely. It's totally great.
So what are you grateful for?
Hang on. Is there
feedback? All right.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm grateful for everything. Oh my gosh. There's so many things that I could just go on and on for hours about. I'm grateful that our barbecue, our Limitless We Are Creators barbecue turned out super awesome. It was great to just see everybody and catch up. And I'm just grateful for everybody being on the show tonight. And I'm just grateful for like all the challenges and all the struggles, because it makes you a better person and it helps you grow, and getting out of your comfort zone is the best thing for personal soul growth. And I think I'm in the ending process of experiencing all that right now for this phase. So I'm grateful for that.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful that Aaron Tupaz has, what did you say, Aaron? 10,000 subscribers. That is so
Wow, you hit
awesome.
it, Aaron. That's amazing.
Congratulations. Like you've come so long or so far. That's awesome.
The content is just so awesome. And if anybody that's watching don't know who Aaron is, go on his YouTube channel, support him. I think he has his Patreon link up there still. So contribute whatever you're going to contribute to every video. I would only tell you to do it if I do it, and I contribute. I'm just saying that the information he puts out there and the quality of the content he does is just amazing. It's just amazing stuff he does. Congratulations on the 10,000, Aaron. That's awesome. That's
it is.
So cool.
And I'm also grateful. Hey, Kathleen, so good to see you too. I'm grateful for the guests that we have on tonight. WadeBloodgood. I literally spent hours this week on the phone with him, not even trying. And this guy is just awesome. Like our first conversation was just supposed to be a few minutes to touch base for the gratitude show and everything. And 2 hours and 9 minutes later, it's crazy. He's amazing. So, but we would also love to hear what everybody else is grateful for as well. And thank you all for tuning in. If you are on Facebook, you can actually reply as well, and we can see your stuff. So feel free to share what you're grateful for. And Sam, I'm so grateful for you too. You rock.
Yeah, I want to hear the gratitude from everyone else also. This isn't just about us.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Oh, 10,001. No, I'm sure you're over 10,000. 10,001. No.
And I'm also grateful that this is experience number 27. And
27,
you know, last week was very challenging in the sense that we had some technical problems, but I was able to go ahead and rebook Gary because
that's awesome.
Yeah, he just has an incredible message. And so instead of waiting until May, we were able to rebook him in March. So he'll be coming back on the show. I went back and watched the video and everything, and it just didn't work properly. So I'm grateful that that person was able to make the arrangements to do so. So.
Oh, wow. That's great. So I wasn't the only one having technical difficulties that night. That's crazy. That's, I don't know what that means, but it happened. No.
Right. And Wade says he's grateful that we have welcomed him to the gratitude show.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear your story. I know Tiffany always brings the best guests ever. So it's always exciting for me every Thursday.
Hi, Dale. Thank you so much for joining us. Were you actually using Smile Time? This is our third platform now. We started on Blab. I mean, was it Blab?
Yeah, I think it was Blab.
So, gosh, it's been so long. Oh my gosh, it's only almost been a year. So it was Blab to Who's now to Smile Time. So
wow.
And thank you. We love you too. Okay, and let's see announcements. Next week we've got Shane the Train on.
Shane the Train.
That's going to be exciting in itself. I love Shane, and he's just a ball full of energy. So I'm excited about that. And I miss Blab too. I totally do. But what can you do? I'm at least grateful we still have a platform to live stream now. So
exactly. I'll live with that one. It's great.
And Aaron, I'm sure Adam and I would be happy to talk to you about all that, whatever you have some time.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. Are my comments coming in at the same pace as you, Adam? Are you able to see what people are grateful for?
Last thing I saw was, oh my gosh, from Stephanie.
Okay. She loves Shane. I think everybody loves Shane. We're good. Okay, perfect. Well, what I'll do then is go ahead and bring Wade on. Let's see, Wade is already in the audience. And this guy, he's just so humble, real. And, you know, I joke he's like my soul brother because some of the experiences and stuff that he's been through, and our mindset and everything is just so similar.
Wow.
But he just had his book come out today called Wade, W-A-D-E, and it's about his thoughts, feelings, and actions, and just on life and everything. And so he's a teacher, he's an entrepreneur, and he's one heck of a guy. So let me find you, Wade, and you can see in my bottom window is his stuff for the for his promotional. So let me change the layout. And
so charityheroes.com, correct?
And yes, thank you. He is the creator of Charity Heroes. And let's bring him in. There we go.
Hey.
And Adam, I'm going to put you right here. There you go. Yay, we did it. Okay. What's up, Wade?
How you doing?
So I'm so thankful that you're here. Adam and I really, really appreciate your time and, taking the time to come on our show and everything. Do you want to start by just telling us who you are?
Yeah, my name's Wade Bloodgood. I'm born in Portland, Oregon, native, and that's about it.
Tell us about your book.
I'm like a really good fisherman. Like I was just born to be a fisherman. My dad would, like, some of the nice things that he would say is like, my kid could go down to the stream and people would say, oh, there's no fish in that stream. And I would go down there as a little kid, probably about maybe 4 or 5 years old. And I would scoop little minnows with my hand and I would come and say, yes, there is fish in there. See? And I would prove to them that there was fish in that river or even a mud puddle.
There's something to be said about fishermen.
What's that?
There's something to be said about fishermen.
Yeah, I love fishing. It's really actually, when I look back now on what fishing has actually been for me in my life, it's really been like the therapy that's always been there for me, but I didn't realize that that's what it was until more recently as I reflected on my past and stuff, and I'm grateful for that. And now that I moved around a lot as a kid, I didn't always live in Oregon. I lived in Hawaii and I also lived in Florida as I got older. So I was always in an environment where fishing was easily accessed, and I spent so much time on the water. I'm really grateful for that, for sure. And now that I'm in Oregon, I'm back in Oregon now, I love nature. I'm so thankful for nature. Like, it just replenishes me, and I've spent a lot of time out in nature, and I also like to hunt and do a lot of hiking. And more as like I'm out in the woods and I'm out like getting a closer connection with myself. Mm-hmm. I love to eat meat, and don't get me wrong, I'd rather not go to the store and buy it, but I'm almost feeling like in the future I might not hunt anymore because I really like observing the animals so much more than the final process of what hunting is, And so I'm like appreciating. I never used to be grateful for things like that. I used to I didn't care about a deer or a bird or anything. And now, like, I take a spider in my house or a fly and I put it outside. It's weird because I'm not like a Buddhist or anything, but like I think I'm going that direction in some aspects. Hi, Adam.
Hey, great. I'm just sitting here listening to all the gratitude. I love it. Keep it coming. There's no shortage here. I want to hear it.
No shortage. I'm grateful for, like, every day I do a lot of I do like what I call prayers of appreciation, which is the same thing as gratitude for the most part. And I'm just grateful and appreciative of just everything that's going on for me. When somebody cuts me off in traffic and flips me off and says whatever, I'm thankful for that. And I realize that this person is going through something else and it has nothing to do with me. And before I would chase them down and give them the finger. now I'm just grateful for the experience, and I don't handle things in a hostile way, or I'm really working like on my responses, because it's like my actions and my reactions are the only thing that I really have the control over when it comes to dealing with other people. And before, I never really exercised that. I just kind of treated people. I didn't really care how I treated them. I treated them bad and talk bad to them. And if they had hurt their feelings, I didn't care. And now I do care. I don't want to be that type of person. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the growth that has allowed me to get to this point, because there was a point in my life when I didn't care about myself. And because I didn't care about myself, and I had a lack of love, a lack of worth, a lack of belief in my ability to do anything or be anything or amount to anything. And I've done a lot of work within the last 4 years that has brought me to this place now that just, it's like I'm not even the same person I was. So I'm grateful for that. My mind kind of went in a loop, so sorry.
That's okay. I wanted to hear more. Well, I mean, I obviously have been talking to you for a little bit, but can you share the aspects that you're grateful for about your book even coming out today? Like, I mean, you just found out on the phone with me, right? Like, you're like, hey, my book came out. Like, wow, cool.
Yeah, this is, I'm so grateful for this book. It's like, about almost 4 years ago, I almost committed suicide. I mean, this is maybe not so, but I'm grateful for the moment, because that didn't happen, obviously, because here I am, guys, and they can't extinguish the light, because what I didn't know at that time was that I'm here for a reason, and that the light in me is very bright. And at this time, I had a lot of turmoil within myself, and I wasn't very aware or very conscious at the time of what was going on inside me and why I had lived so long in the turmoil, in all the bad choices and mistakes that I made. So at this point, I went out to the woods to kill myself, but that never did happen. And during that day, the very next day, I got straight into self-reflection, and I had to assess myself and look at myself and look in myself. And that was something I never even fathomed of doing before. But when I did, it started leading me down this path of things. And so I started implementing them into my life. And so I wrote kind of like, this book is just a very like short-handed, very simple book to read that just kind of explains the things that you need to do and the steps that you need to do that will inevitably, if you do these steps, it'll inevitably give you a better life. If you're rich and you're unhappy, you're going to be rich and happy. If you're poor and you're unhappy, you're going to be rich and happy. And what I mean by that is happiness. Rich to me means the prosperity and wealth isn't something that we weigh in our financial bank account. It's something that we hold within ourselves. And once you have that, you have unlimited potential of whatever you want to put it to. A better relationship with your spouse or your kids or at your job. And so 4 years ago, I started to put those pieces together, and I wrote this book fairly quickly because I was going through all of this experience. The one thing I didn't do with this book is that I didn't really write those experiences. I just wrote what you need to do to make your life better. I really don't want to go on and share the experience, because I don't want to talk those stories and continue to tell those stories. And I think it's I think it's an injustice for me to continue to share, although I do feel that we need to share, but I really don't need to explain it. If you just follow the steps, it'll take you from here. It can take you from hell to heaven. And
that's awesome.
I had at that time too, I didn't know what, I heard about like dream boards. Mm-hmm. So I made myself a goal board. And on this board, I should have took a picture of it. But on this board, I wrote that I was going to write 5 books in 5 years. And I was going to create charityheroes.com. And I was going to do all these things. And so Wade Factors originally was a book that was going to be called Thoughts, Feelings, and Actions. And Wade Factors was just kind of like a subtitle that I had that actually took on the regular title of this book's name. But the book is about your thoughts and your feelings and actions. And I wrote this on a board. And what happened was, so I put it out there, and this book was sitting in an email. I didn't even know how to do a PDF file. I'm not very techy. So I just had it like email form, and I get a lot of momentum on a lot of things, and then I accomplish a lot, and then sometimes I reach a certain point, and then I don't know where to go next with it. And the thing with this was I needed to get this thing published, and I needed to get it edited, and there's a process, but I wasn't prepared spiritually. I wasn't aligned with it at that time. I had a lot more growing to do, and I had a lot more experiences to experience before I could get to that point. Even though the book was ready right now, it took 4 years for the manifestation to become a reality. Wow. But when I started with the book, I didn't have the mind that I have now. I manifest things quite a lot quicker now because I actually understand the process of the gratitude, number one, and just the way that your mind is supposed to think and how you're supposed to feel, and the actions that you're guided to take. If you're paying attention to if you're being aware, the intuitive pull to do something that a lot of the time we all get it all day long, I think, but we just ignore it, and it's not anybody's fault. We've just been patterned in life since a baby to just be that pattern. It's not really who you are, and it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. We all have suffered from it and are suffering from it, most of us. But once you kind of get aware of that, you can really change your life a lot quicker. But I'm thankful for the process, because the process made me understand all of this so much more. And finally today, the book is on Amazon.com. Like it's finally published out on the market, and people can go and buy the book. And for me, having that is something important for me, whether anybody feels anything from it or not, because I accomplished this. I accomplished the goal that I set out to do. And it was really a dream to it was part of saving my life. And I believe that this book has the ability to save other people's lives as well. And anybody that ever buys this book, you can reach out and contact me, and I'll answer any questions, and I'll be glad to help you where you're at. Like I'll be glad to help you work these steps, and I'll be there for you so you can gain some strength and some momentum to stand on your own 2 feet and believe in yourself, and to know that you can do anything that you want to do, no matter what anybody's telling you. Because I did not have a great cheerleading group in my corner. I'm not saying people didn't love me and people don't care about me, but I think some of the people that care and love you the most, sometimes their intentions for your future are not the best, man. And they just, sometimes I feel like people just maybe don't want to see you succeed. And I understand that has something to do with them and not me or not you or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But now that I am succeeding on my own and standing on my own 2 feet and doing things that I honestly didn't even believe in 4 years ago, is giving me something to stand on that I feel is like a very solid foundation. Because the things that I'm experiencing and the things that I have gone through my whole life, I spent a lot of time thinking what is going on and trying to figure it out. And I'm not saying I know everything, and I am not perfect, and I make mistakes all the time. But I make sure that I don't stay in that state of person, and I make sure that I try to correct myself when I fall down. So if I act like a jerk, I like to revisit that, and whoever I was a jerk to, I want to bring that to their attention and say, listen, I want to let you know that I was having a bad day, and that's not an excuse for the actions that I was taking towards you. and that I was being a jerk, but that's not who I want to be, and kind of give them, it's good to do that, because what I found is if you don't let people know how you feel right away, even when you make mistakes, and sometimes I want to be right about a lot of things, so sometimes I'm wrong in trying to be right, because everybody's entitled to their own journey and their own perception and their own view and beliefs of things, and it's not up to me to say this is the way. There's only one way, and this is the way. I don't want to be that type of person. So I want to be open to give people what I want in return from them. So I'm treating others like I treat myself. And I guess what I was also trying to say there is it's important to like talk to people and communicate how you feel, because when we don't do this, that's where all of our problems really start. And it's unfortunate as kids that even though we have parents, but our parents have problems too. And I realize this now. I didn't always know that. I thought parents were supposed to be something else, and they weren't. And I realize now why that they weren't. And our parents really need the love of their children tremendously. And the parent can really learn a lot from their kids, because if you look at a kid just wants to be happy, just wants to play, and just wants to show you to have an imagination and all of these beautiful things. And sometimes we don't connect with our children at all, and we're disconnected with them, and we don't communicate with them properly. So they don't know how to communicate properly. And then that becomes a place where we don't know how to express ourselves to the most important people in our lives in the beginning, which is our parents, and convey these messages to them, so we don't hold them inside, so they don't turn into, the list of problems is long. I mean, drug addiction, insecurities. Like for me, it was insecurities, lack of self-worth, lack of love for myself, a lack of belief in myself. And I actually had people, my father was not a very, he was a good man in a lot of ways, but he wasn't very great to his wife and his children very often. But he was really good to the neighbors and stuff, you know. I mean, I'd love to have been the neighbors, and he would always tear me down. And he was a physical man. Like he would punch you. And my older brother, he's 4 years older, and I don't even feel good about talking about it. It's not something I'm grateful for, because I feel like I was the baby, you know, and so I got everything a little bit less because I wasn't old enough to get it as bad as everybody else, like my mom and my brother. But by the time I got to that age, thank God, he left. He was already gone. So, but my brother and my mother, they physically were getting punched in the face. My brother was punched in the face at 4 years old and had the biggest knot on his head, and his head was black and blue for many days. And my dad almost looked at it, it was as if it was like a trophy. Like he had his friends come over for the barbecue that very weekend and bragged about it. Like, yeah, look at him, because he talked back to me. And that's just no place for, that's just not a place for kids. I mean, nobody should be going through that type of stuff.
Right. So you going through all of this, like, I mean, God, and you're only showing the tip of the iceberg, right? So is that like what motivated you to do what you do now, and especially in starting Charity Heroes?
Oh man, I was just, all of this, I realized that the process, the spirit has been holding me for a long time. I had said this to Tiffany, and I might even had it wrong about what that picture is on the wall with the footsteps in the stand. But there's this thing I remember in like my grandma's house and maybe some other people's houses of the beach that had footsteps in it. And it basically saying that God has been walking with me the whole time. The fact is that picture might have just one pair of feet in the sand. And that is my story. On the beach of my life, on the beach of my life, there was only one footprint there, and it was never mine. It was God. carrying me all of that time. And when God said, "You're strong enough, son," then God, my parents, my real parents, God, set me down. And there became 2 footsteps on the beach now. And now I can walk with God and deliver the reason why I came here in the first place. Because I truly believe this. I chose to come here. My parents didn't choose it. I did. You got to realize, in order to be conceived, like, sex is real fun, and that's the fun part. But when you're a sperm and you're that egg, especially when you're the sperm, there's millions of you in there. And it's a war. It's a war to get to the egg. But here's the thing about it. Just because you're the fastest swimmer and get there first doesn't mean you get in. The egg accepts the right one. So right away, you are chosen out of millions of choices. Millions of other decisions could have been there, but it wasn't. You were the decision. And you were the one. Your purpose started right from the beginning, because the odds of that are, I mean, you have a better chance of going out and winning the lottery. Like, in the way that we think in this world, that would be the way. So you're amazing right from the get-go. Like, you have so much to be grateful for. What I have discovered for myself is that my parents didn't choose me. I chose them. And they were just the vessels that allowed my spirit to manifest into Wade. And now here I am on the other side. Jim Morrison, he wanted to break on through back to the other side because he realized where we come from, and he remembered, and he wanted to go back home, but he made the best of his time while he was here. I have spent the majority of the first half of my life trying to get out of here too, but I didn't die, because during this process of trying to commit suicide, and it wasn't the first time that I attempted suicide or contemplated it. Even my drug use was a heavy, it was a form of trying to kill myself. It's just a longer version of doing it, you know? And so during all of this process, I realized that this life is meant to be, like, things are going on with me now, and I'm growing about more understanding, so I can't talk a lot about it because I don't know a lot about it. I'm getting more understanding, but I'm really connected with God in a serious way, to where, like, I'm just receiving the Spirit. It's hard for me to explain and put it into words and to paint the pictures, and I'm having so many different connections, and I realized that I didn't die for a reason. My light did not extinguish for a very serious purpose, and the purpose is kind of taking shape now, and it's always been changing. And the cool thing is I don't have any expectation of what it is, and I'm allowing it to be flexible so it can unfold as naturally as it possibly can. I'm doing all the hard work that people say, you know, you got to go out and break your knuckles and do everything to get the growth. Well, I'm doing that at home in my head, in the way that I think, the thoughts that I'm thinking every day. So I'm making good stories in my head, and I'm making myself feel better by the things I'm telling myself. And I'm also drumming up, like, if you can find something that makes you feel really excited. Like, for me, it could be like, hey, you're going to go fishing tomorrow and we're guaranteed going to catch 100 fish. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait. Or imagine this. Imagine that you bought a lottery ticket for Powerball, and it's for a lot of money, and all of a sudden it's your numbers and you can't even believe it. And you get so excited that you won this money. What I've learning to do is to take this excitement that I have for something. Most often it was an object. Mm-hmm. A lot of us, if we could be rich, we get really excited about that. So money's a kind of a good one to use, winning the lottery. But you take that excitement that feeling, that emotion of like, I just won the lottery. Oh my God, all my wildest dreams are basically can come true now because I can pay for them. You take that feeling and you practice that feeling towards other things that don't give you that feeling. And for me, I practice it towards things like people that are disgruntled towards me. I go home and think about them being disgruntled towards me and muster up that feeling towards them. The good feeling that says, just love them, man. It doesn't matter if they don't like you. It doesn't matter if they can't forgive you. It doesn't matter if they can't move forward. Come home, feel these good feelings for them, feel the feeling of love for them, get excited about that, and know that that is the truth for you in the world that you're living. Whether they accept it or not, the part is the people that don't accept it, or if you don't accept it from other people, you are holding yourself down. You're not doing anything to them. Trust me.
Yeah.
You're kind of hurting yourself because you're hurting both parties because you don't get to have that relationship with the person. And a lot of these things are just little minute things that happened, and we're keeping people hostage for 10 years because they hurt my feelings or they said something or did something that I didn't like. And you need to let go of that stuff, because the truth is every time you think about them and you go, oh, that I remember what they did, you're the one hurting, not them. I mean, you're hurting because you're thinking these thoughts that aren't good, and they don't know that you're thinking those thoughts. So it has no effect on them. And what I do know too, for myself, anybody that tries to put their feelings on me, that says, you made me feel this way because you did this. Now, I do take responsibility for my actions if it makes you feel bad. Like, I can take responsibility and say, hey, that was not my intention. And that was never my intention. And I'm sorry that it made you feel that way. But I do not accept responsibility for you saying, because you're pissed off for 10 years, it's my fault. That's your responsibility to be in control of what you feel and what you don't. And you're holding yourself hostage by not letting me go from this one story. When you and I were kids, Adam and Tiffany, me and you could play all day, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends on the street, push each other down, tattletale on each other. And 10 minutes later, we're all back playing ball together or running in the park or riding bikes together. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, I never, as a kid, ever woke up the next day and told my friend, remember yesterday when you pushed me off the bike? You just move forward as a kid. You get over those bumps and bruises. But as an adult, what I realize is we hold everybody hostage and we don't move forward. So we can learn from children in that aspect of just like, you know, when kids behave badly and they come into adults, and an adult has to actually be the one making the decisions so the kids can learn what is the right way to kind of do this. The adult says everybody needs to take a timeout. So you need to put yourself in timeout, and you need to apologize to the person for pushing them off the bike. And when you do that, if the person you pushed off the bike still wants to be mad at you, that is their responsibility now. And what I'm telling you, if you're doing that to people, you're not accepting their apologies, you're holding yourself as a prisoner. Because I know damn well for myself, if I had a choice of anybody having any feelings for me, or if you want to blame me for how you feel, I love you. I want the best for you in life. Like, even if I'm not in your life, I want the best for you. If I don't know you, I want the best for you. And if I had a choice of what you were thinking about me and how you were feeling, it would be good. It would be good times. It would be good feelings. Even if I don't know you, I want you to feel happy. I don't care if you're some terrorist strapping yourself with bombs. I love you, man. And I'm sorry that it's got to this for you, but I'm here for you and I love you. And that's what I want for you, for everybody in the world. And there's just so many relationships that I don't have because, you know, to be honest with you, I have acted inappropriately. I've behaved badly in my words and my actions because 4 years ago, I was unconscious and unhealthy. But the process for me to get to that book, I had been on all these drugs my whole life. Like since 8 years old, I started smoking pot, and then 10, it was or 9, it was like cigarettes and then alcohol. And then by 15, I was already doing pretty much all that hardcore stuff, all of it. I'd rather not say the names personally. I'll just stick to alcohol, cigarettes, and alcohol, but all the bad stuff. And you guys know exactly what it is, because there's plenty of people our age that are either still struggling with that or in a place where they're trying to move forward from that person that they used to be, because they weren't ever dealing with the stuff that they couldn't communicate as a kid with anybody that was healthy, that led them to this place. Now we're now we're adults and we didn't die, and we're like, what's going on here? And we're starting to reparent ourselves, and we're starting to show the love to ourselves that we didn't get from our parents that really needed love too. And to let everybody know, like, the generational gap, like my grandparents that are 91 that I visit quite often, I would visit them, and every time I'd leave, I'd hug them and tell them that I love them. And they never said it back. But during the visit with them, they would always tell me, oh, I love your brother. In the conversation, they would mention the word love. But on the goodbye, they would never say, I love you on the goodbye. And so I was taking it personally, and I internalized it that they didn't love me, and that I couldn't be loved, because I believed that at that point a little bit. But what I did was I communicated it with them. Instead of cutting them off and saying they don't love me, so why even go around them when they need me? They need me. I'm their grandchild. They need the visitors. They need the love that I have to offer. They gave it to me when I was a kid. So I asked them, you know, you guys never say you love me. If you don't love me, just say so, and I won't come around or bother you. And I know that I'm your grandkid, and maybe I'm forcing myself on you because I thought we were family. But if that's not the case, and that's not what's real, I can accept that and just tell me. And they said, oh my God, absolutely not. We love you to death. Like, we appreciate you so much. And we didn't know that you felt that way. And then my grandpa explained when he was a kid that they didn't really say I love you. And they'd show I love you more in an action sense, like the way that they take care of you and the way that he tried to guide us when we were kids, but we didn't listen. And my grandparents at 91, they're the best thing that ever was ever in my life in reflection now. And they gave me good advice. They were always there. And whether I took it or not, they were the best thing. But they also came from a generation that didn't express their emotions when it came to love. And especially for men like my grandfather, and men in general, we're told to put our feelings, stuff them away. Like, you're not supposed to cry, man up, you know, don't be a Sally. Well, let me tell you something about Sally guys that use that and say that to their kids, like, don't be a Sally, or to your girlfriend or your wife, or to your son, and to guys, because it's kind of one that you say to a guy to demean him like he's a woman or a girl. Women, you better start respecting women and being grateful for them, because they're here, and the egg that they produced, not a million sperms, they produced the one egg. That's magical stuff, man. And they have to nurture that thing that brings you to come here to talk the shit you do to them, and to mistreat them the way you do is not acceptable in my book. And have I always treated women good? No. And I'm ashamed of that part of me. But do I treat women better now? Absolutely. If you act like a bitch to me, I will say you're being a bitch, and it's not me trying to attack you or this. I'm just letting you know you're being bitchy towards me, and I don't like it. But I'm not out calling people bitches or think women are bitches or hoes and I think that we need to be respecting women more. I think we could really heal ourselves more if we nurture the nurturers. Women nurture life and bring it into this world, and then they take care of it. Men are doing it too, more now than we used to know, but women take it all the burdens. The man works 8 hours and does his job. He comes home. He doesn't realize women work 24 hours a day. If you're sick, she gets up and takes care of you. If the kid, even if she's sick, she takes care of everybody. And we're not being very kind to them in the world. As far as there's a lot of stuff, and I don't want to go into it, but I believe that we should all be treating women a lot better. And if we do, it'll be better for you and I too. Love your sisters better, love your mothers better, love all the women. Even if they're not loving themselves, we have to remind the women in the world how to love themselves, like I had to remind me how to love myself, and that they are worthy. And when we build up the women of this world, this world can heal way quicker because they're nurturers, and they're going to be there for all of us in a way that you cannot deny the power of the feeling of what it is.
Okay.
And
Anyway,
anyway, take a break.
we had a couple questions while you were talking from Linda, and she said you were just talking about sorting out your feelings, and I understand that is a need, but I feel you can gain more living in the moment, small wonders. And then she also asks, do you write them or journal? And then do we have to win the lottery to feel this way?
You do not have to win the lottery to feel this way. It's just a thought. It's just a thought of a feeling. You can watch a movie and cry. You can come out of a movie and be pissed off. It's about tapping into these emotions. They're just feelings, you know, and everybody knows the feeling of joy. You could be trapped in a box your whole life, and that little crack that allows this little light into the box that they've put you in the minute you were born is your joy, and it fills you up in this dark place. That's the feeling you give all your attention towards the darkness, and watch that crack.
Adam, you can relate to that, can't you?
Watch that box fall away. Watch that crack open up. Here's what happens. You're not even in a box. There's not a closed door. There's no wall. There's no mountain. It doesn't exist. It's not real. So when you tap into these emotions and you apply them to these things that are horrific in your life or the way you feel, it basically dissolves them because they're a mirage, just like that stuff on the pavement in the distance on a hot day. It's not real, and it can go on forever and ever and ever, and it doesn't matter how close you get that. It's just vapors of nothing. It's not true. And if you believe that it is true and you go and jump into the oasis that you see, what happens in the cartoon? You get a mouthful of sand. And that's what's really going on in real life, in your mind and in your body and the things that are producing. I guess I'm not sure if that answered the question, but as far as journaling, I do the same thing, not so much with the feelings, but I write affirmations like you would write, "I won't do that again," on the chalkboard. Mm-hmm. So when I go fishing or hunting nowadays, what I do, or anything daily, I basically write, 25 times maybe in the morning, I am love, I am worthy, I am grateful. I have like a list of things that I say to myself. I'm prosperous, I'm worthy, and I write these things down. And it's important that you just say I am and keep it simple in the beginning of things. As you start to gain momentum and build strength on these feelings and emotions start to get better for you, and you feel like you can get a grasp on them, you'll build momentum and you'll be able to do more. And now you can change these very simple I am strong, I am better into full sentences that even have more power to you. They embody even more power. But you got to start off somewhere if you don't know how. And just writing, if you feel like you're not good enough, I would write, I am good enough. I am good enough. And I honestly, I would start off with just this. I am love. I am love, because it all comes from love. Mm-hmm. And at some point, why we have so many problems is because there's certain parts of ourselves that we're not given the love to. And so if you just remind yourself that you are loved, you can fill up those empty spots with those words. They're powerful. It's just God used that word, I am is what it is. It's so powerful, and you use these words, and that's why I am grateful. If you aren't grateful, just say you are grateful. The easy thing is you are grateful because you got eyeballs. If you're tuning into this, you can hear what's going on, obviously. You can see what's going on, obviously. That is, if I just had my eyes and my ears and I just got to sit in a chair my whole life, I would be thankful for that. because there's so much beautiful things that I can observe and hear that I don't ever even have to physically experience or step into.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so simple to take gratitude to this place that gratitude really does help like unfold a mass amount of things within you too. But I believe that there's a lot of steps to take, and gratitude is one of these steps of the process. And once you start to become thankful, you don't ever want to stop doing it. This is not like, I'll probably offer some 30-day challenges to people at some point, but I really don't like 30-day challenges. I want to be able to create lifestyle change so you can reap the benefits of these blessings and the life that you really were born here to receive. And sometimes the bad things that we experience are lessons, but we perpetuate them. We continue to tell the story after it's done. And so a lot of that is kind of like telling yourself good stuff. When we continue to tell ourselves nobody likes me, or I'm not good enough, or I'll never be anybody, because that's what the story you believed to be true because somebody told you that, or you've accepted that, that's the opposite of what I'm doing, because I'm telling myself I can achieve and that I am worthy and that I am loved. And the power that it plays out in your life by doing this will show up. You'll start to notice. If you aren't getting along with your husband or your wife and you start to do this, watch you start to have a better relationship with them. Start to implement it towards the people at work that you feel like or shouldn't be there, or whatever your problem is. Start to implement the things that you're grateful for, that you just have a job, that you thank you I have a partner in life that puts up with me because I realize I could be intolerable at times. You know? And you got to appreciate everybody so you can receive more of that from them. And you got to tell yourself this. So do you want to go back to that question so I can make sure I can answer like all of those questions that you wanted to know? Because there was 3 of them.
I think you pretty much did. Yeah.
I believe in writing stuff down tremendously because it's really been helpful for me to write the stories out, because I actually am in another book too that Kelly Fitzgerald and Lisa James put together called Resilient, and it's about people's story of abuse. This story, it's kind of about like going like from surviving to thriving basically. And I got asked to tell one of my stories in there, and I was really grateful for all of that. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Well, that's okay. And thank you so much for like sharing your heart and just your everything with us. We really appreciate it. And Adam, I wanted to ask you, do you have any questions for Wade before?
Yeah, I didn't. So what exactly is your website aimed towards? Charity Heroes.
Now, Charity Heroes, I don't know if we have enough time, but during this time that I wrote this book, Wade Factors, I wanted to do something for the world that can make a big impact and help a lot of people. An avenue that allowed people to be able to reach more people, to generate more revenue, to help their cause. And I had this idea and wasn't sure what it was, but I came across like a GoFundMe. And at that time it was like Kickstarter, Indigo.com. There's a bunch of different ones.
Sure.
And when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's my idea. And I go, well, it's not your idea because there's a bunch of them out there. And I set out to start Charity Heroes. And when I did, I called hundreds of people that said, we can't make this because it's a machine, and it's not just like a website you can just create. It's got a lot of platforms and levels in it, and it's a little bit more complex. So you need somebody that knows how to build the engine of those things. And I had a friend that worked and did these type of things for companies, and he told me, he goes, Wade, it's $1 million man's game that you're trying to get into. You have to have $1 million to even be able to create one of those type of websites. And I really didn't like what he was telling me. And I thanked him for his help, and I went about my business. And in the process, it took me down a lot of avenues, but I allowed it to unfold. And I made Charity Heroes become a reality. And that friend sent me a message and did say, unbelievable. He couldn't believe that I actually had created this website. But what the website is, anybody knows what GoFundMe is, it's GoFundMe. It's a GoFundMe. It's the same idea. It's the same premises. Our rates are exactly the same as theirs. The only thing for me where I'm at with Charity Heroes is I'm not a tech guy. I'm maybe not necessarily an advertising guy. What I need with this thing to take it to the next level, to be honest with you, is I need some partnership with people that understand the concept and go, this business, if you just go look at the model of GoFundMe, look at what that company's doing. Look at what they're doing.
Well, it's like GoFundMe for charities.
Charitable causes.
Charitable cause.
So it doesn't have to be a nonprofit. It just has to be a charitable cause. So if you yourself wanted to raise money and you guys had an event, like let's just say you guys are going to sponsor a run downtown, a 3K, and all the money was going to go to a charity that you guys were going to give the money to. Got it. That we would allocate that money to that charity directly for you. But I also want nonprofits I want nonprofits to sign up for sure, because I want to be able to help get a lot of small nonprofits within our community. Nobody knows about them, and they're trying hard to be funded, and they're making tremendous impacts within our community, but they're small. And if we could give them a platform so more people know about them, people that really want to give to within their own community, to people that are really doing something in their community. Sure. Instead of giving it to a bigger cause that your money's maybe not helping where you live. I want to be able to help you in your house. And if I can help you get better in yourself, you're going to be better to your wife and your kids. And you're going to be better as to your friends. You're going to be better at your job. And now all of a sudden that spills out into your community. And once your community starts to get better and we all start to have this type of relationship, now our communities are healthy. Now our state is healthy. Now our country's healthy. And if we can just do this everywhere we're at, you don't have to be in the United States to do these type of things. Do it where you're at. This world can get better all together, all at once. Yeah. But Charity Heroes is just an outlet to come. And I don't know what to do with Charity Heroes, because I do need help, and that is the honest truth. I need anybody that may understand more about those things to maybe help me take it to where, because I don't have any customers on there. I'm not really pushing it because I'm kind of at this place of where do I go next? What do I do? What do I do? And I am trying to figure it out and let it unfold. Sure. But one of my things that I want to implement into Charity Heroes is doing a lot what kind of Dave Daly's doing. And that is going to only nonprofits and interviewing them and putting it out there, helping them get out there for free. Just go there. What are you guys about? Why did you start this? Who are you? Who is this helping? How is it impacting? And now I'm going to share these videos for you on YouTube and all the social media, and all these people that say that they want to help veterans and they want to help the homeless and they want to do all that. Well, guess what? I'll have a long list of all those people. And not only that, we'll have like an in-person video of them. And so you can feel comfortable and you'll be able to look into these people, and you can really make a bigger difference. You can really be a hero within your own community if you just donate to the things that you believe in that are going on right in your own community. But they don't have the ability to advertise like these big people. Like all these other ones, they make big money and they pay themselves big money and they have the money to advertise big money. And they do, because they're so big, they do make an impact. But a lot of these smaller organizations are actually making a huge impact, and they don't have the ability to advertise, so nobody knows about them. This is a great platform to give them that uppity step and say, here they are. And I want to travel around along with speaking what I speak and the things that I'm about. While I'm doing that, while I'm in your town doing something else, I'm going to put a bunch of side agendas to come to all the nonprofits that want to be interviewed to get on our platform. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Because I think it's very important. I mean, my whole thing is to help the world, to change the world, to bring love, gratitude, and to help in any way I can. And so Charity Heroes is a great machine.
And that's why I'm sure Tiffany brought you on the show. It's been really awesome. I mean, I've just been sitting back listening to what you're saying and your message, and it really aligns with what we're all about. So Tiffany, I have to say thank you. You did it again. Brought us an awesome guest.
Well, thank you, Wade, for being here, and thank you for everybody for tuning in. And we really appreciate your time, Wade.
Thank you. You guys tremendously. Thank you.
And as far as, let's see, time is it 8 or 2? Okay. Next week we have Shane DeGarry from the 1%, Shane the Train. And I will go ahead, or included in this post is Wade's information if you want to get a hold of him on Facebook or Instagram.
Shane, you got 5,000 friends, so they won't let me back in. And we were friends, but then we weren't, and I don't know what the hell is going on. But anyway, man, you could always friend me if you like the rant and ramble.
And then also, let's see, I'll have to go ahead and include your link to your book in that. And then Adam's book link is in there too. And I think everything's just in there. And let's see, Adam, am I forgetting anything before?
I don't think so. I think it's been a good show.
Okay, well, we will be here next Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And I am so happy and grateful for you, Wade, for your time. Thank you.
Wade.
I'm so happy and grateful for you, Adam, as always.
Awesome. I'll talk to you later.
All right, everybody have a great week.
Take care.
Okay, we're offline.
All right, cool, man. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys letting me go off like that.